Hi guys. So in our last video, you saw that we made it to St. Augustine. And our original plan coming down was to anchor out most of the time, in St. Augustine included. But in the last video, you saw we actually had trouble starting the generator, and it was acting up all day. It just wouldn't hold. The water in the cooling line wouldn't hold the prime, so it kept overheating. So we decided that we would just stay in the marina for the night. They're in downtown St. Augustine area, and hooked to shore power. And it actually ended up being a great spot. We went out to dinner and had a nice dinner and had a nice night at the marina. Next morning, we got up bright and early to get going south, or keep going south. And then the starboard engine didn't want to start. And after some digging, Tyler discovered that the actual starter on the engine went out.
Yeah, so like Robin said, we kind of didn't really expect, it had no issues before or nothing, but when I got it ready to crank up the engine, it just kind of clicked. The starter was just clicking, and I thought it was a dead battery, but voltage was reading high. Voltage, I mean, not high, but it was reading normal. So it wasn't a dead battery. So I called a buddy of mine as a mechanic, and we kind of troubleshot it a little bit over the phone, and we kind of came, like Robin said, to the discovery that the actual starter had like seized up. So, but being fortunate, we have Caterpillar engines, so you can find parts pretty easily for them, and they put these engines in a lot of things. So we got the part numbers off the starter, and then start making some phone calls around some of the diesel mechanic stores and stuff like that. And then fortunately, we realized that there's actually a really large Caterpillar maintenance and like dealership facility in St. Augustine. So called Caterpillar and gave them the part number, and fortunately they had one in stock. So I was like, just hold it, we're coming to get it. So we took the starter off of the starboard engine of my uncle, and it's really big starter, It's like, I think it weighed like 80 pounds or something like that. It's, pretty big. And so we loaded that thing up in a little crate, called an Uber, and like loaded that thing in his car, and he drove us to the Caterpillar place. We bought the new starter, left the old one there, it's a core or whatever, and then got another Uber to take us back to the boat. And so got back to the boat, had the starter installed in 15-20 minutes. I mean, it's 3 bolts, pretty easy. And fired right up, and we were ready to go. So yeah, we pretty much left after that. So.
Yeah, we headed on our way. Do have a little bit of a tidbit, because or explaining why we haven't really done a lot of videos lately is this whole section that we're talking about. We took a lot of video, and specifically on one camera we used a lot, had a big SD card, and the SD card went bad, so we were able to save some of the footage, but a lot of it we lost. So we're here telling you guys about our trip. So anyway, the rest of the day went fine. The generator was working, but it acted up every now and then. But we made it down to Ormond Beach, anchored out there for the night, had a great sunset over there. And the next day we kept going, really uneventful. Made it down to Melbourne, and again anchored out, had a good time over there.
Yeah, I mean, Melbourne was pretty cool. It was nice. It was a nice little anchor spot. We got up in the morning, the next morning there, and we were going to go get some fuel, but we needed to do a pump out, and we needed water. So we called Marina, that was a couple miles down. So we went towards them, but we found out they didn't actually have any fuel. But we really needed to pump out. We needed some fresh water at that point. So we went in anyways. I just did that. But when we got in and shut everything off, did what we needed to do, and then get done and we're getting ready to start the engines again. The starboard engine doesn't start again. This time it's like acting like it's a dead battery. It's like just kind of would barely turn over, then it start clicking. And I was just like, what in the world? I mean, I just replaced the starter yesterday. You know, I'm like, it can't go out again. So I went down and checked the voltage on the batteries again. They were still reading good, but I called my mechanic buddy again, and just me and him were talking about it, and he was in. We kind of figured out what it could be is the actual batteries have dead cells in them, so they're not. Even though the voltage is reading correct, there's just not enough electricity there. So when you go to turn over the engine, it just like sucks all the power out, and it has no power. So we kind of figured out too. That's why the other starter went out. Is when you have very low voltage on or low amperage on a starter like that, it'll kill it because it's not the right electricity for it. So yeah, of course they're massive 100-pound batteries. There's 2 of them that we got to replace. So we did some phone calls around town in Melbourne. Fortunately, the marina was nice enough to let us just sit at the fuel dock, kind of broken down for a bit. Being they didn't have fuel, so they weren't getting people in and out, so they just let us stay there. Made some phone calls, finally found a place in town that had tons of these batteries, and they were the best price that we found yet, anyways, too. So we pulled those batteries out of the engine room, called another Uber, loaded 200 pounds of batteries in this guy's car. Fortunately, he was nice enough to let us do that. And then he took us out to the battery store. We got the new ones, and he drove us back. So it's pretty easy little trip there, but just funny having to take all that stuff in someone's car. Get those batteries put back in. Cranks up like a brand new car. You know, it just turns over right away. So got the thing running. Thank the marina for letting us stay a bit, and started heading south towards Fort Pierce. That was our goal, was to hit Fort Pierce. If we figure if we can do that, then we'd be on decent time to get down to Key Largo and all that later in the week. So we finally did get to Fort Pierce. Yeah, it was a really nice ride. You get go through Vero Beach area and everything. It was really nice. And got to Fort Pierce. Had a little trouble anchoring out, and finally got anchor set. And then watched the sunset, eat some dinner. Got to watch some fireworks that were right across the inlet from us. A little boat parade went through, so had a little entertainment. So it was pretty nice, relaxing, hinting to a rough start off, but whatever.
Yeah. So like Tyler said, we had trouble anchoring out there. Just anchor wouldn't grab. We tried probably 3 times in 3 different spots, maybe 4 times. I can't remember. And the 4th time, or the last time, when the anchor finally grabbed, it grabbed really good and actually jerked the boat a little. We're like, well, we're here. We're staying put. We're not moving. And we didn't. We didn't move at all, didn't drag at all overnight. And then the next morning when we try to pull the anchor up to get going, it felt like the anchor was really heavy and the boat like dipped a little. I'm like, well, maybe it's full of sand. Who knows? Because it's come up, with a big glob of sand or mud on it before. But then when we saw the anchor, we actually saw that there was a big cable that the anchor had snagged, and maybe 4 inches.
Yeah, it was big.
4 inches thick. Anyway, I'm down there by the anchor with Tyler's uncle, and Tyler's up on the fly bridge, and hey, there's a cable on the anchor, and I'm like, I don't know how to get this thing off. And Tyler was like, what do you mean? He thought we had snagged some utility or power cable, and normally the the maps will say where there are utility cables, and there's nothing on the maps indicating that there's any cables where we can't anchor. This was a definite known anchorage. So Tyler and I swapped out, and he saw the cable, and it actually looked like a cable that probably fell off of a work barge or something. Anyway, we probably spent a couple of minutes fighting with this thing. Tyler and his uncle both had boat hooks, and they're like grabbing on this thing and then telling me to drop the anchor while they hold the cable, and we just worked it until we finally let loose. And yeah, then we went and finally got some fuel again, and kept going. And we went down to Jupiter, down the ICW, and it was a pretty ride. Got very narrow. But we yeah, real slow. There was a lot of boat traffic, and we were kind of getting bored with the scenery. So we looked at the weather again, and the ocean looked really, really great. So we actually went out at the Jupiter Inlet and followed the beach down to Fort Lauderdale. Got into Fort Lauderdale just after sunset, I think, or maybe right at sunset.
Like 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah, so it was late. And so we found an anchorage in Fort Lauderdale, and it was very busy there, so it was kind of tight, but we found a spot, made it work. And then yeah, had some rest, had some dinner.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nice. This was a nice spot. It was definitely protected. So, but in the morning we got up, it was like storming a bunch, so we didn't really like get in too much of a hurry to leave. Yeah, why, you know, we didn't want to rush to leave, so we waited on the rain. We ate some breakfast, waited on the rain to chill out, and then once it did, we finally got ourselves going. So I headed south from Fort Lauderdale and intercoastal, went all the way down to Miami, where we were planning on staying the night. We were gonna try to stay at a marina that night in Miami, just because time to take a little break and resupply a little and stuff. But just nothing in Miami was available. I mean, there's any affordable marina was way booked, and the only things available for anything our size was ridiculous money. They were wanting $400 and $500 a night for a slip. It was ridiculous. So we just kept calling further and further south, and we figured out the furthest we could get if we had to was Key Largo that night. So we ended up finding a place in Key Largo that had a spot for us that was not totally ridiculous on price. So after kind of looking at that, calculating how long it would take us to get there, we decided to just go there. And so we went through Miami, went out of Port Miami at the inlet there, and then turned south and headed towards Key Largo out on the ocean side. And so like that day, the wind was blowing from land out to sea. And so when we got like past Key Biscayne, it's just wide open to Biscayne Bay until you get to Elliott Key. So while we were in that like big exposed area, the wind chop was getting pretty good. And so because it was like directly on our beam and the wind was like leaning the boat over a bit, the waves were just like splashing and going way over the bow, and they were like soaking the boat down. Fortunately, up on the bridge on this thing, it's really high up, so you don't really get wet up there, which is good. But the rest of the boat's getting soaked. And we rode in that for a couple hours until we got behind Elliott Key, and then it calmed down because there's no fetch anymore. And then the sunset, was really nice. It was actually really, really nice weather out there. Even once it got dark, it was beautiful out. Really nice little last couple hour or so in the dark into the marina that we decided to go to. Unfortunately, when we were back in Miami, we called them. The dockhand was really nice and gave us like really detailed instructions on how to find the canal. And then exactly where to drive in the canal to like avoid the shallow spots. So we had really good instructions. We got up there, found it right away exactly the way he said it would, where it would be. Got all the way to the marina in this canal. It's like the canal's less wide than the boat is long, so it's like probably a 30-foot wide canal maybe, and we're in a 50-foot boat. So
There's no turning around.
there's like houses like right on the edge. And you're just like driving and looking at people's houses like because they're right there. So we're just driving in, and all of a sudden you're in a little marina, and we got in there and tied up and slept like babies because it was another long day.
Yeah, that was what, almost 3 long days in a row.
Yeah. So since it had been 3 long days in a row, we just decided to stay a couple days and like relax a little in Key Largo. So we stayed 2 nights there. Just kind of got some groceries, resupplied a little bit. Took just some time to be on land for a minute and just not have anywhere to go today, So some of that adventuring around, you'll see. We'll put that in the next video, so you'll see it then. But yeah, until then, I guess thanks for watching.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching and sticking around for our little story. Sorry again that we lost all the video, but the next few ones we have saved some stuff, so we can show you guys some more stuff.
It'll be some of this for the next video or two.
But yeah, anyway, again, we appreciate you guys watching, and if you like what you see and want to be sure to catch the next one, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell button to make sure you get the notification when we post something else. And yeah, thanks guys.